This discussion of Netflix's The Witcher Season 3 was recorded in June 2023 and released in July, prior to the Hollywood writers and actors strikes.
Yeah, we're back together, Mom.
I died. He broke up with me. We're back together.
I died. You adopted this weird child that I tried to kill, but we're fine. It's a normal, healthy relationship, Mom. Be happy for me.
We already did Bellatin. It's official.
The wedding's in September. Be prepared for shrimp at the wedding.
Istrid's officiating.
Dearly beloved, we're here, and I'm fucking not happy to be here, but...
Kestrel flies overhead.
Maybe that's how a shard of ice happens. Istrid officiates the wedding. He's like, you know what? Fight me first.
They do a whole bottle episode at the wedding.
Well, Sapkowski did write about Geralt and Yennefer's wedding as a gift for a friend, so it exists.
I think we just did a better one, yeah. Sorry, Sapkowski. I think we nailed it.
Just saying, Netflix hit us up.
Hey guys, welcome to Breakfast in Beauclair, a global Witcher podcast. My name is Alyssa from GoodMorhen, and I'll be your host as you, I, and our international hanza accompany Geralt of Rivia and his destiny, Cirilla of Cintra, across the continent. Hello, welcome. It's so nice to be back. Welcome to Season 6 of Breakfast in Beauclair, in which we'll be covering Netflix's The Witcher Season 3. If you are new to the podcast, my name is Alyssa. I've been hosting and producing this show about the Witcher books and Netflix adaptation for nearly 5 years. Breakfast in Beauclair provides a uniquely international lens on the series by hosting chapter-by-chapter and episode-by-episode discussions with guests from all around the world. And while we're talking about being all around the world, our next stop on the Hanza meetup tour after Belfast, Boston, Melbourne, and Vienna is Poland. We will be celebrating the 5th anniversary of the podcast there this August. If you would like to attend, we would love to have you. Please check the Hanza Discord for travel details at bit.ly/the Hanza Discord. In addition to all the fun life changes and happenings that were going on outside the podcast, I'm so excited to share that I found an editor for Season 3. In a couple of episodes through the end of the season, I'm working with Sherry Grove, who you'll know from The Newest Olympian, and I'm really excited to be working with her. If you've enjoyed the last 84 episodes of Breakfast in Beauclair, please consider supporting it on Patreon. It's thanks to our patrons that I'm able to pay for important tools and services to keep the podcast up and running, such as podcast hosting, transcript services, domain and website resources, artwork, and now editing! Hooray! I'm so excited for it. Learn more about donating to the show at patreon.com/breakfastinbeauclair. This episode, we're welcoming Kaya to our Hanza over on Patreon. Thanks as always to our patrons and our producer-level patrons, Katie the Redhead of Toussaint, Jacob B., Charlotte from Vangerberg Glamorai, The Original Roach, Libby, John of Riblia, Tom from Australia, Jill Kate the Tabby Witch, Ollie from Sweden, James Carson III, Miriam of Temeria, and Softy. As for this episode, we're taking it all the way back to last July, right before The Witcher Season 3 actually came out. As you guys know, the Hollywood writer's strike started shortly after that, and then the actors followed. And at the time, I made the decision to pause production on the episodes of the podcast covering the Netflix series. So for this season, you're going to hear 6 episodes that were recorded before the writer's strike and recorded last summer, and the last 3, which cover The Witcher Season 3 Part 2, are actually going to be recorded in the coming weeks. So we'll have a really interesting difference and a lot of perspective between the two halves of the season that I'm very excited to explore. As I said, we're taking it back to last July when Elsa from the UK and James from the US called in for a pre-premiere discussion of The Witcher Season 3. Join us as we discuss our standout moments from Season 1 and 2, our characters to watch, and our wildest Season 3 predictions. And make sure to enjoy it now that you have full knowledge of the season and what we missed. Without further ado, let's get to our pre-premiere discussion of Netflix's The Witcher Season 3. Hey guys, welcome to Breakfast in Beauclair. My name is Alyssa, and today we're welcoming back 2 members of our Hanza to the show. My first guest is a French script reader living in London who's working on crossing the line to script writing. You'll recognize her from her previous appearances on Breakfast in Beauclair, episodes 49 and 50, covering 201 A Grain of Truth from Netflix's The Witcher. You'll recognize my second guest from his appearances on episodes 59 and 60 of Breakfast in Beauclair, covering 205 Turn Your Back. He's living in Boston, where he hosted the first America's Hanza meetup. Please welcome two of my favorite Hanza Discord gremlins, Elsa from the UK and James from the US. Hi, guys.
Hi.
It is so lovely to have you back. We have done so much in the last year and a half since you guys have been on the podcast. What's been up? How have you guys been?
Well, I got a new job since our last appearance. We've gone to 2 Hanza meetups. I guess I was kind of the key piece of both of those, forcing all of you to come to Belfast and then having you all come to Boston. 3 of you were in my house. I've graduated from newbie DM. We finished an entire year-long Euros campaign that Elsa was a part of. We're like halfway-ish through an America's campaign right now, and I'm prepping for the second Euros campaign, which I'm very just in that world now, and that's all my free time.
Yay, congratulations on growing up
Thank
this
you.
year.
It's been a long journey.
It was so exciting getting to meet you, getting to meet Elsa as well over in Belfast and Boston. And Elsa, how was that experience for you, meeting everybody in Belfast? And what have you been up to since?
I mean, yeah, it was pretty good because I feel like all I've been doing ever since is meeting new Hanza members, and yeah, a lot of you guys have become very close friends now. And when I last recorded, I don't think I'd met any of you guys in real life, and now I'm literally like supposed to meet Gintare on Monday for a drink because it's just a casual thing now. So yeah, it's been really lovely to get to know you guys and to have an excuse to travel to meet some of you guys. So yeah, to keep playing D&D with James, who was the DM for my first full campaign. So that was really nice, and I was really happy I was really excited to get to be a part of that. That was really fun. And and we created some really special bonds, I think, with the people we played. So that was really lovely.
Yeah, it's so nice to see how D&D has just taken off so much within our community and how it's really brought everybody together. So major thanks and props to James as well as to Gary, our OG Hanza DM as well.
Yeah.
If you are new to Breakfast in Beauclair and you're just kind of popping in because this is an episode about The Witcher Season 3, hi.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're welcoming you into this madness, into our chaos den. But Breakfast in Beauclair is, of course, the name of the podcast. And if you're familiar with the Witcher books, you'll be familiar with this scene in Lady of the Lake that takes place at a Breakfast in Beauclair. And the name for the community around Breakfast in Beauclair is called the Hanza for book reasons. Yay! Our community, our Hanza, has taken to like meeting up in person all around the world. We've done meetups in Belfast, Boston, Melbourne. We're planning Vienna for this October as well. And probably another America's meetup at some point. So I've met both James and Elsa. And yeah, it's been such an amazing part to be a part of this community.
I just want to say, I will never forget on the last day in Belfast, the first time we kind of all had breakfast together, and Alyssa was like, guys, it's real. It's the Hanza breakfast.
And we were at this gigantic table.
The longest table I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I came in early because I was like, there's like 10 of us, something. We need to keep a table. And I was like, I saved the biggest table I could find for you guys.
You did the best job.
No, we always have a good time. And as I said, it's so nice to see you guys again. It's been a while since we've seen each other in person, but it's always a pleasure. Today, we'll begin our discussion of Netflix's The Witcher Season 3 with our pre-premiere predictions and things to watch. So while we're recording this, we actually have a week to go until the premiere. But at the time of release, the show would have been already out for a week. So these are the predictions that we're recording before the show airs, and we're going to see if we're right. Before we get started, though, here's a quick synopsis from future/present-day Alyssa on the last 2 seasons of the show. Cirilla of Cintra, an orphaned princess, comes under the care of Geralt of Rivia, a witcher and a monster slayer. Ciri's royal lineage, her supernatural powers, and her rare elder blood put her at the center of a continent-wide manhunt. Kings, emperors, and sorcerers are after her, alive or dead. In order to keep his word safe, Geralt took Ciri to the remote Witcher's Keep, Kaer Morhen. There she learned new skills, how to fight people and monsters, including Voleth Mare, one of the spectral riders of the Wild Hunt. The season ends with Geralt's on and off again love, Yennefer, nearly sacrificing Ciri before vowing to help the girl control her powers instead. Meanwhile, war and division ravage the continent, pitting the northern kingdoms against the Nilfgaardian Empire. Nilfgaardian agents have been searching for the Cintran princess, and at the end of Season 2, we discover that Ciri's biological father is none other than their emperor, Emirvar Emrys. The spin-off Ciri's Blood Origin details the conjunction of the spheres and the events leading to the human invasion of the continent. At the center of the story are the stellacite monoliths that dot the present landscape, which are revealed to open portals through time and space. So now that we've gotten a synopsis on the last 2 seasons, it's been a year and a half since the last one. What would you guys say are your standout moments from The Witcher Season 1 and The Witcher Season 2?
I think one of my favorite things from the second season was the storyline about Yennefer losing her powers after Sodden. I think it was just it was a really good idea to go there because so much of her self-worth is attached to magic. It's like, oh, for her, that's the only thing that makes her kind of worthy of anything. And we've seen in Season 1, like all the things that magic had done for her and all the things that she was ready to do to get more powers. So I think it was interesting to see her literally powerless and have to come to terms with who she really is without them. And I really like the parallel they kind of drew with art, with Jaskier, who was like, I would be the same if I couldn't sing anymore, if I couldn't write songs anymore, I would feel a bit useless. Like, I think the relationship between the two of them and this scene between the two of them was very lovely. I didn't love the way it ended. Like, I didn't really like the idea of Yennefer having to be willing to sacrifice her life for Ciri to get her power backs. Like, it's just a very specific notion of sacrificial motherhood that doesn't super connect with me, I guess. And also I feel like it's a bit early for this character to be at this stage with Ciri, but I still like the idea overall. So I think that's the point that really stood out for me. And also the fact that they gave Francesca and Fringilla a bit more to do than they do in the book, and they really tried to develop their motivations, and the 2 actresses were also really, really good. So I was glad to see a bit more of both of them.
Well, I guess I'll take it in the other direction then, because everything that stands out about the first 2 seasons to me are all of the different monster fights.
Oh,
As great as a lot of the characters in The Witcher are, the thing that separates it from, I think, a lot of other fantasy series, especially these days, is those monsters. Like, sure, we have House of the Dragon, we have dragons, whatever, but
yeah.
Where else are you going to see Henry Cavill running around in the middle of the night fighting a Striga?
Yeah, no, that's true.
I think one of my favorite scenes, which I think a lot of people like, but it doesn't really stand out as much, is I believe it's episode 8 of Season 1, where I think it's right after he's left Cintra, after he's escaped, and he fights all those ghouls in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Just the complete pitch black darkness.
Yeah.
Like, for a lot of shows that doesn't work, especially they might throw like the blue filter on there and it would just look terrible. But it's just like that's the atmosphere that I want for The Witchers.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's dark, great. If it's hazy and misty, great.
Yeah.
If I'm just seeing like a half-second shot of some gross ass monster coming out of the side of the screen, great. That's really what separates this show and the books and the games from every other fantasy series, and I'm very excited to see more of that.
Yeah, I agree. Also, in this scene is great because he actually gets hurt.
Yeah, he gets fucked up.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. So yeah, there's this idea that he's not like a super powered machine. Like he can fuck up and he can actually get in danger. And yeah, I do hope we get more monsters and more cool action scenes as well, more good fights.
I think one of the things that stood out to me about The Witcher Season 1 and 2, I think one of my favorite episodes or standout episodes for me was A Grain of Truth. I think particularly because I had seen it in isolation. but it was such a perfect blend, in my opinion, of book adaptation and new television opportunities. Just because obviously in the books, Ciri isn't there. And I think the way that they leveraged her throughout that episode was, interesting and gave a lot for the characters to do and a lot for them to react to. And it brought an additional perspective for both Ciri as well as for Geralt, with this story of Nivellen and Verena. So I thought the production on that episode was fantastic, as well as the storyline. And I was really excited to see kind of like where the rest of the season went. I think some of the other standout parts of season 1 and season 2, there's so many characters that I really enjoy throughout both seasons. I think the actors are fantastic. Obviously the main cast, but I love the translation from the books to the show, of really making it an ensemble show and having a really great cast of secondary and tertiary characters that we're still able to follow. Characters that you mentioned, Elsa, like Fringilla and Francesca, who've been beefed out more. Same thing with Flavandrel, who is more than just like a singular character in a short story. He now has like a full arc and a full storyline over the course of multiple seasons. Jeremy Crawford as Yarpen Zigrin as well. We saw a little teaser of him in at least episode 1, Sherwed. So we have that to look forward to. And I could just like run down the list of characters and actors who've done a really incredible job in those 2 seasons that I'm looking forward to seeing again in season 3. And on that note, what are you guys most excited about for season 3 of The Witcher?
For me, again, it's these combat scenes. We did see that one teaser, and as much as I just said, I love seeing Geralt fighting alone in the woods, these crazy monsters. I really enjoyed from that teaser. Everybody's there. Ciri's involved, Yen's involved, Yarpen Zigrin's involved.
Yeah.
It's no longer just the solitary Geralt, but he's also doing new things. He's using more signs, as we saw in that clip. It's no longer just the sword, which I think is really exciting. We kind of are going to get to see more of things that people use to stay alive in the games, because those signs are extremely important. I would not have finished the game if I couldn't use those signs.
Yeah.
And I saw some behind the scenes interview the other day about Freya Allen. They didn't really need a stunt double for her because she just did it all herself, which I'm very excited to see. It's like just a complete difference from, I think, both Ciri and Freya from season 1, that she was newish to acting. It was like her first big job, and Ciri's kind of just exploring the world, and now she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't need a stunt double. She's just in it fully. And I think that's incredible. And my last thing, I think, would be how the world is expanding now. It doesn't, obviously we got Kaer Morhen as a new location in season 2, but that was really it. There wasn't much other new stuff. It was a lot of Aretuza, a lot of Cintra as well. So I'm excited to see more locations, more new characters. Everything's bigger. There's more politics, which everybody loves. So I'm very excited to see how just kind of the world grows along with the characters.
Yeah, I agree with I'm excited to see more monsters and more fights, and how to watch all those 3 characters fight together and use all their different skills in kind of a complementary way. I feel like it could be really, 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 really cool, and I'm looking forward to that. One thing I missed a little bit in season 2 compared to season 1 was I kind of missed how weird and bold season 1 could be. Like, I know it didn't always work, but at least it tried to do things. It tried to be a bit weird and a bit different. And season 2 felt a bit more like a more traditional, like Game of Thrones like show, which was really nice in certain aspects. But I kind of miss the weirdness of the books and the weird fairy tale aspects, and yeah, there's just something a bit funnier and darker and weirder in the books that I hope they can bring back a little bit in season 3. Like, I don't know, we could have like a fucked up Belfane sequence. Give me weird psychedelic unicorns. Like, I don't know. I just want something a bit out there and a bit more like creatively bold than what we've seen in season 2. But yeah, I'm just excited to see what they can come up with, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair critique. When you look at Sapkowski's writing, the worlds he's created, and how straight up silly the books can be, and just ridiculous and stupid at times. I think there is kind of a level of gravity and seriousness
Mm.
that kind of happens in the translation to television. But I think to bring in some of that like levity in a way that I think isn't just comedic, but also either like has cultural references or cultural notes, or isn't afraid to be a little funny or be a little self-referential. We're just kind of like out of the box, unexpected. I think that there's a huge opportunity to do that with The Witcher.
I mean, it's a difficult balance to find, and you know, obviously they're going to think about the tone of each season individually, so you never really know what a new season and a new situation could bring. But yeah, I just feel like the book has so many great opportunities to bring in something a bit more grotesque and fun and weird. It would be a shame not to go there with the show as well.
Absolutely agree with that. I feel like in season 2 we saw a lot of Geralt being comfortable where he is, which is not how I want Geralt. Like I did Turn Your Back. That's the episode with Geralt and Istrid in the canyon. And that's incredible because he is just uncomfortable the whole time, still trying to do his job. So I want to see more of that. And just based on the trailer, seeing Geralt at a party with Yennefer in this beautiful doublet, I am so excited to see how he navigates that because he's not comfortable there. And that's what makes Geralt such a fun character. He has these places where he's like, I'm totally fine. I can handle this. I've handled this for 100 years. And then he has these places where, oh my God, Yen, hold my hand. I can't do this.
Yeah, and they're really funny together. I think that's also something I like because they each have their different comfort zones, and their comfort zones are completely different. So when they're together, there's always one of them who's comfortable and one of them who isn't. And that's why they work, and that's why they're hilarious together, because they're always each other's comfort zone in difficult situations.
Yeah.
Because Geralt is just he's a very funny character, I think. Like we sometimes forget just how hilarious his inner monologue can be in the books. So yeah, I hope we get more of that.
No, the man has like half a brain cell bouncing around in there, and a lot of the times that thing is drunk off its ass, and it's not okay. His brain is just like, what is the simplest thing that I can do, and it's wrong. Like, but that's why we love him. Like that's what makes his character like infinitely more interesting, yes, but also more human, more relatable, which I love. I think the thing that you mentioned about like character dynamics too and unusual character combinations, that's something that I really loved. I believe in like season, I want to say 2 or 3 of Stranger Things, which came out a number of years ago. Character combinations in The Witcher, there's obviously some new ones that we're going to see.
Yeah.
If they, follow the books, that will be familiar for our readers. But for example, like Yennefer and Cahir in season 2.
Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about it. Was it unexpected? 100%. Did I hate it? No, I think. But it was one of those things that I was just like, I really wouldn't have thought of that. And the interaction obviously brings out a very specific side of each of them that you wouldn't normally see had they been with their usual crowd. So I'm also interested in seeing what are the ramifications for some of those new storylines and plot lines that we didn't have in the books. Where could they take that relationship between Yennefer and Cahir, for example? Is it going to impact their story with canonical events? Like, what are we getting into, I think? And I think that part is really exciting.
I think adding Ciri to that Geralt and Yen dynamic, it's going to bring them together, but I feel like it's also going to push them apart in ways that I don't think we expect because, like Elsa, you said, Geralt and Yen have 2 very different comfort zones, and coming together is kind of their comfort zone. Ciri both at the same time has no comfort zone because her world has been completely turned upside down. She's, wanted by God knows how many different people. But at the same time, I think she is more weirdly well adjusted than both Geralt and Yen, where she doesn't have any comfort zone, but she's comfortable in most situations because she kind of has to be to survive.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And also, one thing I really love in the book is how it's this triangle that's always sort of moving, because in the books they're never really the 3 of them together. They always have this family relationship through each other. It's like, Geralt is with Ciri, and then Ciri is with Yen, and then Geralt and Yen are back again, but they're very rarely actually together. And obviously it's a difficult thing to do in a TV show because you need your three leads to be together more than you would need in a book. So it's fine that they changed that, but also it means I'm excited to see how it's going to work out. What's interesting is that so Fanet, the ball which happens in Time of Contempt, is like a big shift in the relationship between Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, because without saying too much, it completely shifts the dynamic between them. And I feel like their relationship and all their character arcs are at a different place in the show now than they were in the books. So I'm looking forward, I guess, to see what this event is going to mean for them in the show compared to the books, because obviously it's going to be different. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
I'm very excited to see them at a ball together because we've seen them both separately at balls. We've seen Geralt with Jaskier at the Cintra ball, and he hates it. He has the worst time. All this political bullshit is going on just way above his head. And meanwhile, Yennefer at a ball is so much more comfortable. She's into it.
Yeah.
She's having fun, but she's also doing the politics while that ball happens. I think that's in season 1.
Yeah.
Right before the Battle of Sodden. And I'm excited to see them come together and kind of have to navigate that together. Like, it's a medieval-ish ball. Obviously, there's going to be politics going on.
Yeah.
Is Geralt just going to be by the refreshment table eating shrimp, drinking punch while Yennefer's out doing all this stuff? Or is she going to force him to get involved? I'm excited to see how that kind of works out.
The scenes are just so hilarious in the book. It's like they're sort of like rebound date where they just go out and they're like, we're back together. We're going to tell each other that we love each. We're going to say that we love each other over the shrimp bowls. And it's like, you do you guys. I love you.
Put on the act for our friends.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes Okay, my bar for Time of Contempt, I'll admit, is on the ground.
You mean the best book, Alyssa? You mean the best one?
By default, Time of Contempt is my least favorite book, but that's just because all the other books are better.
I agree.
Ooh.
Someone new has completely turned off the podcast at this point.
Me and Gary are holding strong. Time of Contempt.
We're right. I'm sorry.
But for Time of Contempt, Thanedd Ball is one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
and for, I think, part of that reason, like, the setting inherently constrains the characters, what they're able to do, how authentic they're able to be. But you see them come through their personalities and the forced interactions that they have, put them in scenarios in which you wouldn't normally see them, so it colors another side of their personality, which I think is so much fun. But yeah, you have really stupid moments, like Geralt blushing so hard he has to hide his face behind a piece of lettuce.
Haven't we all done that?
We've all been there.
Like, come on, canonically, that happens in the books, and it's also very stupid. Like, you are a grown man.
Yeah.
Calm yourself.
But yeah, and also they've been really good at showing the more vulnerable side of Yennefer and the more slightly like feral, I guess, side of her. Like we saw like young Yennefer. Like she wasn't exactly the sorceress we know from the books and the games when the show started. I really appreciated that, but I'm looking forward to seeing the like political savvy Yennefer and to see her be, she's good at her job. She's like good at politics.
She is.
She's good at negotiating stuff, and so I'm looking forward to seeing her do that. And if it can be in contrast of her trying to drag a himbo witcher boyfriend around the ball who's like, this duplet is itchy and the ladies are watching me funny, and then bring it. I want to see that.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting opportunities when moving from the books to the television show is often, not always, but often in the books, things just kind of happen to our characters. Granted, Sapkowski does a really delightful job of explaining why that butterfly flapping its wings over there is suddenly affecting our main trio.
Yeah.
Using like little vignettes and things like that. He does that all throughout the books. And every once in a while, one of our characters will do something that's probably kind of stupid that then gets them into a pickle. That's maybe a third of the time that they're actually the cause of their own issues and scruples. However, I think that one of the things the Netflix show has kind of inverted is more often than not, the characters are responsible for the plot. I'm interested in seeing how that kind of continues just because they gave Yennefer a lot of agency in her own storylines in season 1 and season 2. How is that going to take shape in season 3 as well. Same thing for Geralt, same thing for Ciri, and I'm sure for all of the other secondary and tertiary characters that we see in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also in the books, I think we see most of the ball from more Geralt's perspective and some of the preparation from Ciri's, I think. So we don't really know what Yennefer's up to. And it's true for a lot of the
We
books.
never know what she's up to.
Yeah, she's always up to some like shady shit, but we never really know what. And so obviously it's a bit like you can't really do that in a show where she's one of the main characters, so you need to know a bit more where she's at. Yeah, it would be fun to actually understand her motivations for what she's doing and what's going to happen and why she's fucking around and why she's really going to find out.
And I guess on that note, as we've been talking about all the characters from this season, the last 2 seasons, who would you say is your character to watch for season 3 of The Witcher?
For me, it is Philippa Eilhart. I think it's a generally agreed upon disappointment a bit that she was pretty much just an owl for the entirety of season 2. I think a lot of us were really excited that she had been cast. Cassie Clare is great, but she really only had one scene as herself, kind of at the very end of the season. So, as we've talked about a little bit, with the expansion of these politics, more wheels start turning, things start happening. Philippa, I think, is going to have a very large hand in that. I'm very excited to see her chemistry with Graham McTavish. Anybody can have great chemistry with Graham McTavish.
Yeah, that's true.
but her especially, I think, him as Dykstra and her as Philippa will really bounce off each other well. Season 3 is, and at this point in the books, is kind of where things start happening on the sorceress's side.
Yeah.
Especially in the show, they've had Stregobor kind of taking, the lead role there. It's been Stregobor kind of butting heads with Tissaia, and Vilgefortz is coming every once in a while and be like, "Hey, I'm pretty good too." But this is kind of where you see Philippa take a little bit more control, and I was excited to see that in season 2, and it didn't happen because she was an owl. But I do love the way they kind of seeded that owl throughout things. She was in Cintra, talking to Dara, I guess. I don't know, advising him. So we know that she's kind of had her hands on the wheel a little bit, but I think this is where she's going to really like step on the gas and hard turn left. And I'm very excited to see more of Cassie Clare. I think she's going to absolutely crush it. Philippa is such a beloved character, I guess.
Yeah, we love Philippa. She's incredible.
People love Philippa. She does some wild shit.
That's why we love her.
So, I'm excited to kind of see that iconic character start to develop.
Yeah, I agree. She's an amazing character in the book and in the game as well. She's just very funny, and I just hope she's as flamboyant in the show as she is.
It has to be. Seeing what Dykstra is wearing all the time, I think Philippa picks out his clothes.
Yeah.
I think that they could push it further. I want to see them get more extra, the two of them.
Oh my God, yes. I want them to be the most iconic, fabulous couple at the ball.
Obviously, I think Elsa and I both have this large attachment to Graham McTavish from his appearance in Outlander, where he's the opposite of like flamboyant, cool, crazy extra guy. But Elsa, have you watched Men in Kilts, the travel show he did with Sam Heughan? So they went to Scotland together, traveled around Scotland, just like having the time of their lives. Graham McTavish is the opposite of Dougal Mackenzie. His own personality is the most outrageous, wonderful, just crotchety, old, sick of Sam Heughan's young ass kind of guy. And I really hope they throw that in a little bit into Dykstra, just because Dykstra in the games where he has kind of this bigger role is like, you don't want to mess with him, but if you were on his side, he would be like the most fun friend you could have. He's just like, I hope they put a little of that into the show version, because Graham can destroy that.
He's a really fun character in the game. Like he's fun to be around, and as you say, Graham McTavish is incredible. And let them shoot that scenery, baby. Mine would be, I think, on top of these two, Tissaia. they did a really good job in establishing a relationship with Yennefer and how she's kind of this mother figure to her. And obviously, if you've read the book, you know that it's going to lead to Time of Contempt. And so I'm excited to see that and to see how their relationship is going to evolve. And also, obviously, without saying too much, she has a very important scene in the book that I hope they're going to pull off. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite scenes in the books.
It's my favorite scene, 100%.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And in the books, it's quite strong because you don't know that much about this character.
Mhm.
And this scene is the moment where you get to really know her in a very ambiguous way. And so it kind of gets you thinking and you're like, oh, what does it mean? Why is she doing that? Who was she? And the show obviously is going to take the opposite view of, we know her quite well, we know her motivations quite well. So I'm intrigued to see how they're going to make it work in the show, how they're going to make it hopefully as impactful in the show as it is in the book, because she deserves it.
Tissaia was one of my biggest surprises from The Witcher Season 1 and Season 2. I felt similarly about the scene that we're all talking about in Time of Contempt. It was an incredibly powerful scene. I loved it, but I didn't have any emotional investment in Tissaia prior to that scene.
Yeah.
Like all of her scenes in Blood of Elves, which we've spoken about, I believe in Blood of Elves chapter 5, if I remember correctly. We meet a couple of characters, including Tissaia, there for the first time. And so between those two books, I personally didn't have a lot of acknowledgement or a ton of interest in the relationship between Tissaia and Yennefer, but all of that is completely inverted with the show because I think Mayanna Buring is incredible. First of all.
Yeah, she's great.
And they've done a really great job of establishing the history and the legacy of her relationship with Yennefer. And I'm sure we're going to see how that plays out. And hopefully, if we do get that scene from Time of Contempt for Tissaia, it's done in a way that has a lot of gravity and impact.
And also in the book, you're like, you don't necessarily understand why Yennefer did what she did at the ball. But in the show, we understand the very strong relationship she has with Tissaia, and you understand that she trusts her. And you understand that it's going to be a very big dilemma for Yennefer to decide, can she trust Tissaia, or does she need to go her own path? And which choice is she going to make? Yeah, it should be pretty heartbreaking. So excited for that.
Yeah.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but because things have changed from between the show and the books, Geralt and Tissaia have not met in the show yet, correct?
They actually have very, very briefly. They did at the beginning of season 2, in episode 1. It was like the opening shot of Tissaia and Geralt on the same battlefield. And I think Tissaia acknowledges later in the season that she had seen and met Geralt and Ciri.
She's the one who tells him that Yennefer died at Sodden.
So I was going to say, I was excited to see Yennefer introducing her mother to her boyfriend. But, I guess they already bonded through her fake death, so...
I mean, I think that still has to formally happen.
Yeah,
though.
it does.
We're back together, Mom.
I died. He broke up with me. We're back together.
I died. You adopted this weird child that I tried to kill, but we're fine. It's a normal, healthy relationship, Mom. Be happy for me.
We already did Bellaton. It's official.
The wedding's in September.
I think as far as my character to watch, I'm going to go with Rince, my favorite Chaos Boy, who Chris Fulton made genuinely scary for season 2. So that was unexpected and also incredibly, incredibly rude.
And genuinely sexy.
I was expected to shit on this character for the rest of time, and Chris Fulton made that incredibly hard. But between seasons 2 and 3, we actually have a recast for that role. So Rince will now, instead of being played by Chris Fulton, who is, I think, on Bridgerton duties for the rest of time.
And Bridgerton.
Our new Rince is Sam Wolf, who we'll see in season 3. Like, you guys know that I love to hate this character.
Oh, same.
Because in the books, he's a flippin' moron. Like, Rince is a dum-dum.
I wrote in my note, I want to see Rince be incompetent.
That's literally all I want. I need the gravity of how dumb this character is sometimes.
Yeah.
And I would love that for me, personally.
You deserve it.
To be able to see that on screen.
I support you.
He's like a weird, bizarre farce of a character and a caricature, with everything that Chris Fulton brought to the role and with the way that the plot was structured and the fact that he was the season's bad or one of two big bads. Haha, Volithmir. We can see that they might be setting him up on a very specific arc. With what we said earlier, it'd be nice to bring in some of that ridiculousness from the spirit of Sapkowski's work into the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rince is a vehicle for that anymore, but he's still a character for me to want to watch in season 3.
Yeah, I feel like he can be ridiculous and scary. There's nothing more scary than a very incompetent person who's in charge,
yeah.
No, Elsa, that hurt. Why would you say that?
You're the one who started it with the whole I want my book read. Well, here it is.
No, you're right. Incompetence is really scary when it's combined with power.
But yeah, I feel like there's a way to make him still be the bad guy and still be kind of shitty at his job. I hope for your sake and all of our sakes that it happens.
Yeah. And I guess on that note, what would you guys say is your wildest prediction for season 3?
My wildest prediction for season 3, I mentioned psychedelic unicorn desert sequence. I want to go further than that. I want it to be a musical sequence. I want Siri to fucking hallucinate through this entire desert, and suddenly she starts seeing like weird singing unicorn. I want it to be an entire episode of a total acid trip for Siri. I want singing unicorns. I want it to be a weird musical number. That's my wild fury. James, why do you look so distraught?
I am speechless. Somehow you cooked up something crazier than what I was going to say. I love it.
You know me by now.
Yeah, but like the matter of fact way you said that is like, I want this. It really got me good.
I am manifesting this into the world.
Based on the way they're releasing this season with some now 2 episodes a month later, there's still time for them to go back and change it to what you've just manifested.
This could be a secret in between episode. Like it's like in between the 2 seasons, like in 2 weeks.
Like a 20-minute.
In 2 weeks, mid-July, they can release.
Netflix, if you're watching, 4th of July special.
Oh my goodness.
Series Desert Musical.
Maybe it's animated. Who knows?
Perfect.
I mean, to be fair, Old Spice has a tie-in with The Witcher.
Yeah.
Last season, Lambert, Paul Bullion did the Old Spice tie-in. This season, it was Jeremy Crawford who plays Yarpin, who does have a hallucinogenic psychedelic experience with Siri in the ad. Siri sees Yarpin just being gross and being himself. And then she kind of like That's So Ravens into like some weird acid trip hypnosis state in which she sees Yarpin riding on a unicorn, and then like there's a bunch of elderflowers like singing like Alice in Wonderland.
That's exactly what I want.
And then, this sounds insane. I can't imagine the pitch meeting for this. And then like he's wearing a like Viking helmet that breaks open, revealing like 6-foot long locks. And then the flower is still singing, and it's wild.
Well, that's just what I want, but it's a full 30-minute episode, maybe an hour, but I'll settle for 20 minutes.
Noted.
Because I know it's a lot of work to write songs. You go, James.
I don't know how to follow that up.
Well, okay, why don't I go in between then?
Okay, yes. Let me recover.
So I don't have wild predictions. My wild predictions every season are simply just paranoid. I'm like, okay, Dara's gonna die. Yarpin's gonna die. Philavandrel's gonna die. Like, those are my predictions.
Are you okay?
I'm just like, who else is gonna get on the chopping block? I don't know. And then I just like go down the list. Because like, especially with characters who got extensions from books or new characters who weren't in this series at all. Like Dara, I've been saying that Dara's gonna die every single season for the last 3 seasons.
Actually.
And he's still there. He looks fantastic in the new promos for season 3.
Yeah.
Like Philavandrel, is Francesca gonna go off the deep end if he dies at any point between this season and every other season to come? Yeah, I don't know.
Is she not already off the deep end after the end of season 2?
Actually, that's true. She did kill like a metric ton of babies at the end of last season.
Her armor, though.
Yo, her armor.
Looking good.
Yeah, her promo pics in like Scoia'tael armor and Nilfgaardian armor look sick. So I'm very excited for that. She looks fantastic.
I don't know how further down to rock bottom you can go after killing a bunch of babies, to be honest. But
Yeah, there's not much after that.
I'm sure she'll surprise us.
you just have to keep digging after that. But yeah, I'm excited to find out.
Mm-hmm. All right, so James, where are you taking us?
I'm taking you 6 feet under. My wild conspiracy theory is Geralt is going to die. Elephant in the room. Henry Cavill is leaving after season 3. Liam Hemsworth is taking his spot. Most people are like, oh, maybe they won't address it, whatever, or like Geralt will have some accident and have facial reconstruction surgery or what have you. I think the multiverse is hot right now. Geralt's gonna bite it. Someone, Siri, Yen, somehow go through time, dimensions, other worlds, whatever, get a new Geralt. And that is how we have Liam Hemsworth. Last scene of season 3, stepping out of a portal, Liam Hemsworth, Geralt. I fucking hate portals. And then they're like, oh my God, Geralt, you're back. You're not truly dead. But Henry Cavill, Geralt, he's done. He's out. He's dies. That's it. That's my conspiracy theory.
I think it's a great theory. They can totally Doctor Who that. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yes, interesting. I don't know if this is going to spread into toiler territory, spread into spoiler territory.
I hate toilers.
What I kind of was hoping between season 3 Henry Cavill and season 4 Liam Hemsworth is we would get a big ol' honkin' scene. Geralt's eyes would kind of close at the end of season 3 with Henry and then open in season 4 with Liam. So it would just kind of be like poof, poof, and then poof, poof. Yeah. So now that we've spoken about our wildest predictions for season 3 and some opportunities for multiversal crossover, what Easter eggs and crossovers would you guys like to see between The Witcher season 3, the games, Blood Origin, Nightmare of the Wolf? Anything else that you would like to see, like, kind of tie in and Easter eggs from?
Yeah, I think Scoia'tael are going to be a little more prominent. So I think it would be neat to just have even like a cameo from Iorveth.
Oh yeah.
He's such a beloved character from The Witcher 2, Assassin's Kings. He didn't make it into The Witcher 3 for cut for time, pretty much. So it'd be neat to bring him back just as like a before he becomes the big guy in Scoia'tael, just like a little side general, like even just like giving orders like Iorveth, go fetch that bucket or something.
Bucket clanging.
Bucket clanging. Yeah, I think that would just be nice because, a lot of people who have played the games aren't as familiar with the books, maybe. So that would be, I think, a nice tie-in. Like, oh, the Scoia'tael is this. Iorveth, he was a leader of the Scoia'tael. This is where he came from. This is how those connect. And another one that is kind of just for me because I'm sad that it didn't make it in season 1 because I just think it's so funny. Now that the little Sherwed caravan with Yarp and Ziggurin is happening, I would love if Yarpin just says like, oh yeah, last time we took this road, we were traveling with a sorceress who was just sick the whole time. It was such a hassle. It's so dumb, but it's so funny to me that just Triss just was out of it for that entire trip, shitting everywhere, puking everywhere. I just want like a little reference to that. Like it doesn't even have to be Triss, just like another sorceress. We were hired to take her, and that would just make me happy. And that's what's important.
I agree. We touched a little on mine already, but in the books and in the games, I love the running gag of Geralt always getting dragged by some powerful woman who forces him to wear a very tight, shiny outfit to a social event. And he complains the entire time. It happens like 3 times in the game, I think. And it's hilarious to me every fucking time. I will have the best of time dressing my little Geralt and hearing him complain. And I just love it so much. It's my favorite thing. So I just hope they go there in the show because it's hilarious. It's hilarious for me, and I think that's important.
We need like a little like get ready with Geralt and Yen scene because I think in season 1 it's just like Geralt and Jaskier were talking about the ball.
Yeah.
Cut to it, he's there and like, oh, I hate this. But I want to see Yen like holding up outfits to him. Like, does this look good with your weird ass eyes? Ciri can have an input.
Yeah.
I want to see them dressing this man, making sure that he looks presentable for the biggest ball the continent's ever seen.
Yeah, I want the makeover. I want the, opening the changing room and closing it montage.
The montage.
Yeah.
Would a hat look good? I don't know.
And Ciri and Yen are like sitting, being like,
It's like that scene in like Beauty and the Beast where like the
Yeah.
parlor does Beast up and he's got like the huge massive
with
curls.
the little bows. So that would bring me a lot of joy. My other more serious one is Keira Metz, who is not that much into the books, but she's a big character in the games. I love Keira. I think she's lovely in the games. And so I wonder if it would be fun to have a bit more of her in the show than she's in the books, and to see what's like if they make her quite similar to how she is in the game, or if they go an entirely new direction. So yeah.
Geralt goes to all these balls and he has these incredibly powerful sorceresses lording over him with all their power and their strength. Relative to them, Keira is pretty sweet.
Is she?
A little bit. She has her own
Isn't she the one who's
agenda.
obsessed with getting pregnant at the ball?
Well, yes. I'm thinking like Witcher 3 Keira. She's nicer, I think, than a lot of the sorceresses, especially to Geralt. And I think a lot of that sweetness might have been put onto Triss, which is why I'm not quite sure what kind of Keira we're going to get. But we'll see. I'm also very excited to see her.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, she's a fun character, so I'm wondering what they're going to do with her.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm expecting to see some Easter eggs from Blood Origin. Just because Blood Origin came out between seasons 2 and season 3, of course. So I'm sure that we're going to get something. I thought the songs in Blood Origin, which were written by Bear McCreary and Declan DeBar, I think did quite a bit of writing on them as well. I thought a lot of those songs and the soundtrack was really lovely. So I think it'd be nice to like see or hear some of those themes or some of the lyrics as they're kind of getting passed down through the centuries to the present day continent.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool Easter egg, is those lyrics and that music. As far as something that I'm just like, I just want this. Give me a tabletop role-playing game for Thanedd. Give me a one-shot for Thanedd.
Yes!
I would want that so bad. I think that would be so much fun to just
please.
like have that without going into any spoilers, but to have that event at that scale with just like a mess of characters. Super, super, super fun, I think. It would be really interesting to see how the plot, the alliances, the conflict plays out in a role-playing setting. Someone make that.
I'll get to work on that. Admittedly, if I played it, I would be with Geralt by the shrimp table, not associating anybody. I'd be too scared.
I'm like, would I be in the basement?
That would be like, without spoiling everything that happens at that ball, that's like a DM's dream.
Yeah.
Like that is a perfect one shot. That is an incredible idea, Alyssa. I love that.
Let's do it.
Thank you. And money, please.
Money, please.
And I guess as we kind of like start to wrap up our conversation, we've spoken a lot, of course, about The Witcher Season 1 and 2 and The Witcher Season 3, but why would you say that people should watch the next season of The Witcher?
There's a lot of interesting, exciting things that happen in the book, so it should be an interesting season. And I'm like you, Alyssa, it's probably my least favorite book because the pace is a bit weird, but also there's so many exciting things that happen that I'm excited to see. Like I almost feel like it could work better in a TV show than in a novel. So I'm excited to see that. And now all the book fans are going to hate me. And yeah, and I don't know, it's still a fun fantasy show. And clearly we have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, and we all love talking about it. So if you watch it, you can talk about it with us. And that's a great use of your time.
It's the real gift, the friends we made along the way.
Join the Hanza Discord.
Exactly.
For me, I think The Contrarian, Time of Contempt, is my favorite of the saga books.
Okay.
You're wrong, but fine.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
Listen, it's a turning point, I think, for the story itself, for the characters, for the show at this point with the Geralt change. If you love Henry Cavill, that's why you should watch it. This is it. Give him the love he deserves, because he put so much work into the character and into the show. Like I said, it's a turning point. A lot of things happen to a lot of people that sets them on the course for the rest of the saga. there were some changes from the books in season 2, but I based on episode titles and based on the trailer, I think there's going to be some closer stuff here to the books directly. Some stuff that got pushed out of season 2 from Blood of Elves, and some stuff from Time of Contempt that looks excitingly similar. At least I hope. It's a time of contempt. It's also a time of change. Things are going to go crazy for our little 3 heroes, and Jaskier, who is a 4th. I feel like he's as much of a lead in the show as the other 3.
Yeah.
So things are going to change for them, and I'm excited to see how we get into the next stages of the saga.
I would definitely agree with both of you. I think The Witcher Season 3 should be something to watch. I think it starts to build into those new opportunities and into, in my opinion, what are the best parts of the book series.
Yeah.
Second best book, okay.
Baptism of Fire, Tower of Swells, Lady of the Lake. It's like, that's my fun place. But this season is so critical because it puts all of our characters on the path that they'll be in until the end game. So that is incredibly fun, in my opinion, and is something hugely to look forward to. And I do think that we're going to get an incredible ensemble of characters this season. They're adding more characters for season 3 as well. We're going to get a lot more investment in the politics of the continent and in the way that, war is going to impact everybody, not just from what we've seen in seasons 1 and 2, but like how the continent really shifts with these characters in their center. So I'm really excited to see all of that. And I can't wait to watch The Witcher Season 3 Part 1 next Thursday. And then this episode will come out the following Thursday. And then, we can chat online about everything that's going on and what our little theories are for Part 2, which comes out at the end of July. But until then, that is it for our show today. Elsa, James, thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and thank you to Hanza for listening. So where can people find you guys, and is there anything that our community can help you with, or anything that you would like to share with them?
You can find me on Twitter at James Carson III, or on Instagram at jcarson III, or on the Hanza Discord. That's where I am the most.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Elinor, ELINOR, Halcombe, HARLCOMBE. If you can find me, good luck. And on the Hanza Discord otherwise.
Well, I'm so excited that we got to chat with both of you, and I can't wait to see you guys in Vienna, fingers crossed,
Yes.
in October as well. And next episode, join us as we begin our episode discussion of The Witcher Season 3 with 301 Sherrowed. Thanks for joining us at the breakfast table. For show notes, transcripts of each episode, and a complete list of our social platforms and listening services, head over to breakfastandbeauclair.com. Breakfast in Beauclair is created by Alyssa from GoodMorhen. It's hosted by Alyssa. The show is edited by Alyssa with music by Alex Berner. Breakfast in Beauclair is produced by Alyssa in New York City with Katie the Redhead of Toussaint, Jacob B., Charlotte from Meganberg Glamorai, the original Roach, Libby, John of Riblia, Tom from Australia, Jill Kate the Tabby Witch, Ollie from Sweden, James Carson III, Miriam of Temeria, and Softy. Special thanks to Elsa and James for joining us for this episode, and our international Hanza for their support.